What's going on, my fellow residents? It's me, TheFrozenCavern, and today I have another discussion video for you guys. And today we're going to be talking about future possibilities of Kingdom Hearts ports. Now, the Kingdom Hearts series, it's nothing new whenever it comes to remasters, remixes, ports, whatever may have you, but there are some interesting things that really haven't been brought up too much. First things first is 1.5 plus 2.5 as well as 2.8. Now, when 1.5 plus 2.5 was announced, everyone was kind of expecting it to be on the Xbox One as well as PlayStation 4, but it just never happened, and the reason for that being is because Kingdom Hearts 3 was revealed to be on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So of course it made logical sense for 1.5 plus 2.5 to end up being on both consoles. However, for whatever odd reason that didn't happen, and it might have just mainly been because Square hasn't really done anything with the Kingdom Hearts series in terms of Xbox. Not one Kingdom Hearts game has ever been on an Xbox anything. So they might have just had difficulty with that. But it is really weird that they didn't, because Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be on Xbox One, and people need to catch up on the story. Of course, the internet exists, so they can just do it that way. But in case they want to actually play the games, they would have to get a brand new console just to play through the series. And a lot of people don't want to just get a brand new console for one game or one series. I know there are some people who are willing to do that, but there's not exactly a lot. And keep in mind, this is also for newcomers too, so if they don't end up enjoying Kingdom Hearts, then that's a whole game and a whole console that they got for pretty much nothing. So just having the option on Xbox One makes it more accessible to Xbox users, and it also makes it more welcoming for them since they wouldn't have to spend as much money trying to get it. And trust me, when it comes to accessibility, before the remixes, goodness, accessibility was difficult because it was all over the place. It was on PS2, it was on the DS, it was on the 3DS, it was on Game Boy Advance, depending on, how far back you are. It was on the PSP. You had to travel to so many different gaming platforms, and it was just frustrating. And now we have mobile, which isn't exactly that bad, but it's way easier to access it now. However, for Xbox fans, it's not exactly the most accessible thing in the world. Now let's bring up Kingdom Hearts 3 being on the Nintendo Switch. As I've mentioned already, Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. However, an idea for Kingdom Hearts 3 to be on the Nintendo Switch has been brought up in interviews, and the answers were pretty vague, but I guess it's to really see how well Kingdom Hearts 3 does before they do anything, and if anything, it'll be released after the PS4 and Xbox One versions, which, that's fine. However, the Switch version would need some serious downgrades in terms of graphic quality, because the Nintendo Switch, it isn't as powerful as the Xbox One or the PS4, because for games like Sonic Forces, which is coming out in the future, it's only going to be in 30 frames, while on every other version, it's going to be in 60 frames. So if Sonic Forces is going to be like that, and that's going to be a relatively small game compared to the Kingdom Hearts series, where 1.5 plus 2.5 is about 60 gigabytes, Kingdom Hearts 3, when we're all assuming that it's going to be a relatively massive game, for one, the memory for it would be really bad to try and keep up with, but two, it wouldn't be in 60 frames as the other versions would. And not only that, 0.2, it does run on PS4. Thankfully it does. However, that doesn't mean that it didn't have graphical issues on just the regular PS4, because a lot more PS4 games are being worked around the PS4 Pro instead of just the regular old PS4. So if they're already having problems on the standard PS4, they're not exactly going to do all that well on the Switch. Now, am I open to Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Switch? Of course I am. I'd probably be one of the first people to get it. Issue is with all the graphical stuff I mentioned. And then this could also kind of tie into 1.5 plus 2.5 being on the Switch. However, those games aren't as graphically intense as Kingdom Hearts 3 or 0.2 are. So in terms of running them, the 30 frame difference, it might happen, but it has less of a chance of not happening than if it were to happen for Kingdom Hearts 3 or 0.2. And with the whole memory thing that I mentioned before, it's not all that great. Most Switch games don't really have too much memory to take up on the space, so each game is around maybe 15 gigabytes. This is a very rough estimate, so don't judge me on that. But if Kingdom Hearts 3 were to be on the Switch, or even 1.5 plus 2.5, then 3 would definitely get a downgrade. 1.5 plus 2.5 could possibly get a downgrade, aside from the obvious 1080p drop to 720p. And now one final one, the Kingdom Hearts series on PC. So Again, this is another thing that Square hasn't worked on at all when it comes to the Kingdom Hearts games. Of course, there is Kingdom Hearts Key, but that has a different kind of format to it, and it's not like the other Kingdom Hearts games. It's very different compared to the other ones. But I'm talking about porting all of the other Kingdom Hearts games, 1.5 plus 2.5, 2.8, and 3, over to PC. Now, usually what happens when games are ported over to PC, they do not turn out that well. They're usually filled with bugs, glitches, and crashes beyond belief. Batman Arkham Knight is probably one of the best examples, because when it launched, it was horrendous. There were certain parts that you couldn't even get past because it would crash all the time, and overall made the first impression very, very bad. And that's one thing that you always have to remember. There's only one first impression that you get. So if that first impression is trash, the rest of the time is not going to look all that great. And yes, you can improve it over time, which is what they did with 1.5 plus 2.5 on the PS4, because there were a good number of issues on that when 1.5 plus 2.5 released. But thankfully they managed to fix it over time and did damage control on everything. And then another really awkward thing they'd have to work around is control setup for PC. Yeah, using mouse and keyboard for Kingdom Hearts, I would imagine is very, very difficult and would just be unfun to use. Of course, I can assume that a lot of people would just get a controller and use that. But in case there are some people who would rather not use a controller, which to be honest would be a pretty small number to begin with, but for those who don't want to use a controller, it would probably be very, very bad for them. Now, in terms of running it, I would assume that the games would run fantastically on PC. Some of the best looking games in general are usually on PC, because they're able to get the best out of pretty much every aspect graphically wise. I also would imagine that they would run relatively well on PC as well. 1.5 plus 2.5 would definitely, since like I said before, the least graphically intense game out of the series. 0.2 in Kingdom Hearts 3 could possibly, but then again, it would also depend on the PC, and some people don't exactly have the money or the time to make or buy a PC that would be able to withstand such intensity, if it is actually as intense as I'm making it out to be. So again, it's kind of like the Nintendo Switch situation, except without the whole memory part and the graphical downgrade. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Do you guys agree with the things that I've been saying, or do you disagree with some of the points I've been making? To be fair, some of the things were pretty rough estimates, so if you need to correct me on anything, please feel free to do so. But if you enjoyed, don't forget to like and subscribe for more video game content, and until next video, take care.